this illusion of being on top of it. If we placed the windows where the reception hall had them, by the time you got into the middle of the room, you'd see you'd see the tops of a series of lanterns along the easterly side, which would break up the illusion of being on top of the harbour. Now, the western wall is covered by a tapestry. Those symphonies, he got so inspired, he did an abstract painting. I'm sure that's happened to all of us at, this month. It's the first day of the month, so a continuous woolen thread, it could stretch from Sydney to Perth. Ooh. Unfortunately, we have neither the time nor the resources to test that fact out. So, well, guys, that's pretty much the tour. I really hope.
No, I know you went in the elevator, but you didn't see it.
Oh, yes, yes. We got to see down in the valley.
这个应该是。
来，我给你拍一个这个军舰。
Oreo terracotta. You see the balcony? There's a 2 terracotta soldiers. The China terracotta soldiers display there. See 2 small ones right there.
Well, welcome back on board, everybody. What did you think of the Opera House? 1850, and he designed that to be a coach house and stables for Government House. It has been the Conservatorium of Music for many on a complete revamp, and that section that you see with the slate coloured roof and the copper Old Treasury Building and the Intercontinental Hotel. That's Bridge Street. We walked there 1,000. And Matthew Flinders, who circumnavigated Australia, that's his statue on the left, had his cat behind him. See, Trim, on the windowsill? Yeah. He travelled with him when he's obviously sitting at the moment. And the top of Martin Place is on the right barracks. An interesting thing about Francis Greenway, the convict architect, is that he was transported to Australia as a forger. He forged a building contract. So it was rather funny that when he went to decimal currency in 1966, his face happened to be on the front of one of our $10 notes. We used to call it the building of hatches, matches and dispatches. And St Mary's Cathedral on the right. We're coming round into, around the back of the Domain. Above the Domain is a pub. Here at lunchtime you'll see groups of people out exercising, doing touch football. But the thing it's most known for is a shortcut to the art gallery. This is the Art Gallery of New South Wales. It has a spectacular collection of early Australian art. And this is where you'll see the collection of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander art and Pacific Island art. Of all the exhibitions, say for instance over they've got this one. This is a visiting exhibition. You'd pay to go and see the one that's there being promoted. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, that is a free entry. They had the artists at the Heidelberg School, the early movement at the end of the 1800s of Australian art, as well as all the Pacific Islander. They finished school about the second week in December, and they'd go back to school at the end of January. That's our hottest period of time. It's a native Australian tree. It's not an edible fig. Well, it is for the bats and the birds, but not for humans. And this is the edge of the Botanic Gardens, 65 acres, and it was a location of Australia's first market gardens. The fifth governor of New South Wales, Governor Lachlan Macquarie, was the first governor to recognise that Australia could be something more than a penal colony. And to that end, he was enlisted the aid of people like Francis Greenway, the convict architect, to come in and design some significant buildings for Australia. His wife also used to walk through, and she helped to set up the first market gardens here to try and grow crops for the early colony. But soil here wasn't very good for vegetables, and eventually they found rich alluvial soil along the banks of the Parramatta River, which comes into Sydney Harbour. There's a hoop pine trees that we have on the left. Now what we're going to do is leave everything on the bus that you don't need again. If you'd like to buy a photograph, it'll be $20. We all go and pose in the photograph. Once we've taken the photograph, if you just want to take some snaps of your own, there's a spot.
这2000块我真的不要买，这些老美我根本不需要。
来，你过来。
Oh, yeah. I think they welcome this.
Oh, is that it? I wondered.
Over there. Oh, the other side. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but over there, I wondered if I couldn't decide if it was the band on the boat. You know, the it was on the. They're sitting on the chair.
Was originally one of Sydney Harbour's many natural islands. It was conjoined to the mainland during the Second World War to create a dry dock for ships. I need to remember that. That's one of the finger wharves that was built here. They've demolished the others. Ships could dock on either side, but the end part there is apartments, and Russell Crowe, the New Zealand actor when he's behaving badly, otherwise known as the Australian actor, lives there with his wife Danielle when he's not on his property up in the country. There's other apartments that are on top of apartments. So there's apartment or the silhouette of this headland against the skyline. So they built the gardens on top of them, and each of those waterfront ones has a marina, so you can berth your ship or yacht in. Of September, the equinox is actually around the 21st, 22nd of September, but we can. It's another learning and discovery item. Now these men are hard at the Woolloomooloo Wharf with the hotel known strangely as Blue. I don't know if that's because what happens there is blue. We'll just leave that open for conjecture. One of our best known landmarks, if we slow just a little, Wayne, please, is that Harry's Cafe de Wheels. You would have read about it in tourist literature. The meat pie you've tried, a lot of you anyway, or the pot pie as you Americans like. Some of the Australian naval ships here, the Kangaroo on the funnel. The Navy dockyard directly ahead of us. And
Fully licensed.
then they've got grinders next door, that's a worry.
Showgirl.
Places for blind people. Oh, is that what it is? Ah.
Adult world.
Hey, Vicky, it says they're fully licensed up there by the show.
Yeah.
Global Gossip, that's an internet cafe, but that's what you can ride to, what happened next door when you get onto the Global Gossip. Guess where I went? Yes, just next door. Book Exchange. Cheap. There you are, Linda.
Yeah.
A book exchange. You said you're a bit light on books, you know, they says you could exchange some over there. Linda's nearly out. Now, incidentally, I did tell you, didn't I, that aren't we lucky it's a bit slow, the traffic through, and you've got time to read all the signs. It gives a new meaning to
24 hours.
one of the location. Oh, sorry. Well, best built girls and the longest leg you sit on and it does the work for you. Look at the orchids. Aren't they divine? I used to have...
Oh my God. Like Smarties. Wow.
That's the Wallara Motor Yacht Club on the left-hand side. This used to be a working pier. It's now just called the Pier Restaurant. Fabulous location looking out over the water. And up ahead of us, on the left, you can see a semi-curved grey building with a big flag above it. That's called Catalina's, and this is for fossils, actually. The Triassic period was underwater. It was the headland, which you'll see tomorrow. There's also a couple of ice cream places. At the far end, there's a gelati shop. New houses, I think from next year that are built, will have to have water tanks, storage tanks constructed onto the side of the house to collect rainwater.